Hello and welcome to another manga review. Um, I'm a little proud that I've continued this. Usually I would have given up by now, but I'm really glad that I'm still reading from my TBR. Maybe I'll actually get through all 398 volumes, who knows. Anyways, the first volume that I read was The Young Master's Revenge by Mecha Tanaka. This volume was a bit of a surprise for me because usually I can't count on shoujo beat series to hook me in immediately, especially with the high school romance comedies, but it didn't happen with this one. I just didn't find the story that interesting, and I think that one of the reasons why I wasn't that into it was the dialogue. It was very repetitive. They kept regurgitating what the series was about over and over and over again. And I understand that it might have something to do with how each chapter was published in the magazines, but it was just way too repetitive in volume form. And I understand that they probably couldn't just remove it, but I really didn't like it. And then the rest of the dialogue didn't really have much substance either. Everything and everyone was very surface level, and there wasn't even any comedy. I didn't really get a sense of who the characters were, and it didn't really make me care about them. The Young Master's Revenge is about a high school boy who's become wealthy after the success of his father's business. He studied abroad in the US for 10 years, and now he has returned to Japan. During those 10 years, he's been planning his revenge on Tenma, a childhood friend that used to get him a lot in trouble, and worst of all, his pride when they were kids. So his plan now is to charm her, make her fall in love with him, and then dump her and break her heart. I don't know. It's, honestly, when I found out the reason as to why he wants revenge and what happened that humiliated him and why he blames Tenma, I was just like, really? That's it? This is why? It's like, the idea, as silly as it is, would have been pretty funny, but it just needed to be executed better. There's just something about the dialogue that made it boring. And I think that's what it is. I think I just don't like the author's writing, which is a bit of a surprise and new for me because I don't think I've ever disliked a mangaka's writing style before. Usually, if I don't like something about a manga, it's the artwork. The art style in this manga is very cute, so no complaints there. But the dialogue is just, I don't know. I just didn't like it. And I do believe that this will be my first unhaul. I really don't think I'll be continuing this series. And I also realized that I have another manga by this author, so fingers crossed that one has better dialogue and hopefully it's less repetitive. The next volume I read was Jujutsu Kaisen Volume 1 by Gege Akutami, or unless it's Gigi Akutami, I'm not sure, actually. I think it's Gege, I don't know. I don't have a whole lot to say about this volume. Everything was entertaining enough. Like, everything was good enough, but it wasn't great, but good enough, and yeah. I like the art style for sure. I like the dialogue. I like the characters. They were all pretty interesting. But nothing really stood out to me, but I can definitely see the potential of this manga turning into something really fun and, like, exciting. So, yeah. I think, yeah, I'll definitely continue this series, but I think first, before I start buying the rest of the series, I think I'll get volumes 2 and 3 from the library, and then if I like those two more, hopefully, than I like this one, then I'll definitely be a series that I purchase for my collection. So a little bit about volume 1. Jujutsu Kaisen is about our main protagonist, Yuji, who is pretty much an average high school boy, except he has a ridiculous strength. It's not really explained in this volume at all, but there's a little bit of a hint, a slight foreshadowing that it'll probably be explained eventually. It seems to be kind of important. The track and field coach wants him to join the team, but Yuji would much rather be part of the occult research club. One day, the club members find an actually cursed object, but of course they don't know that it's actually like a real cursed object. So when they break the seal that's keeping all that evil in, all hell breaks loose. So now Yuji, along with this mysterious stranger he just met, have to save his club members. Unfortunately, things go from bad to worse, and Yuji has to take very drastic measures in order to save his friends. They're pretty drastic, kind of gross too. I have a feeling that after the second or third volume, when all the characters have been introduced, I think this series is really gonna start picking up and it's gonna get really good. And then my favorite thing, of course, is that the dialogue wasn't repetitive at all. It was pretty good. Next, I read Your Light in April by Naoshi Arakawa. Goodness. Okay, so this is a series that I never had any interest in. I wasn't interested in the manga or the anime at all, but I think this volume came in a loot crate, like an anime loot crate exclusive sort of thing, so that's why I have it. Your Light in April is about Kosei Arima, who is a piano prodigy, but he can't play anymore. He's pretty much given up on playing the piano until he meets this girl named Kaori Miyazono, who is a violinist, and she has a very outgoing style. She doesn't really care about tradition or competitions. All she really cares about is playing for people and being able to reach people with her music. Kosei admires Kaori, and maybe, just maybe, she'll be the one to help him get back to the piano. I don't have a whole lot to say about this volume either. I found it more interesting than I thought I would, but it wasn't anything too gripping. I like the characters enough, the story seems kind of interesting, and judging from the title and the flashbacks that we saw in the volume, I assume it's a bit of a tearjerker, which is cool because I do love a tearjerker, but also I'm a little conflicted because I'm not really in the mood for a tearjerker at the moment. So if I do continue these series, it'll be a while before I actually start volume 2 and so on. And then last but not least, I read volume 2 of Chibi Vampire by Yuna Kagesaki, and I have decided that I want to continue this series because volume 2 was actually pretty fun to read. So now I have to hunt down the rest of the series, and hopefully it's not too difficult because I do believe this is out of print now. And then I also decided that I'm not going to review sequels, only the first volumes. So that's why I'm not gonna really talk about this one. But I'll just mention it to keep track of how many volumes I read. And now I am down to 391 unread manga volumes out of 398. So hooray for progress! That's pretty cool. Pretty excited. Well, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all later. Bye.